Alex. He's the producer of BF4. It's good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too.
Dude, I've been playing Battlefield games for years, so this is really exciting for me. So, excuse me if I get a little bit giddy at some point.
I'm quite excited as well.
Oh, yeah. It's a big release. It looks beautiful. Yeah. It's an amazing game. And I have to thank you for one thing in particular.
Okay, what's that?
You gave Recon C4
So
I was missing it in the last game, and I've got it back, and I was just tanks.
Yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about what went into BF4 that you may have not put into BF3, the new features, the brand new stuff, basically. The big additions that set this apart from the last game.
From the previous game, yeah. So basically, there's three big things that we're focusing on, and that's first of all is the design concept, which we call Devolution. Devolution is kind of like it's an umbrella term, really, for where we add you maybe see the skyscraper coming down, and it's also in the the destruction. And also like smaller pieces that we're trying to add. The idea is that we're going to try to make the map feel as dynamic as possible. We want you to feel that the battlefield is changing as you play.
All the time.
Yes, exactly. And no battle should feel the same. It should always be different how you experience it. Sometimes this happens, sometimes that happens.
And I noticed midway through that last game I was playing, where there was like a perfectly good island maybe 5 minutes ago, now there was just a smouldering kind of building structure there.
Yeah.
And I was sniping out the wreckage instead of an actual building. And I mean, how much damage has to be inflicted for that to happen?
So basically it's up to the players to try to take the building down. So this building has like support pillars on the bottom, and these are already quite damaged from previous things. So what the players can do is to shoot these out, and essentially that's like chopping out like on a log if you're chopping down. Yeah. So what happens then? So you kill the supporting piece on that side, and it collapses in on itself and out in the bay, basically. And it's not like you just. Of course, the first thing you were thinking about, why don't players do this all the time?
Yeah.
Because that's just fun to do. But there's a catch to all of those things. First of all, if you're controlling the seaport, which is on top of the skyscraper, you have access to basically jump out to the map itself, and you almost have parachute access to all the control points out on the map. So
I've never made it up there in my previous games, but I did see it in the trailers.
Yeah, you can just take the elevator.
Yes,
that's exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if you're the team that's holding this position, C on top, you want to keep this building intact. Probably it's best for you, because what happens if you collapse it down, you lose that strategic advantage of getting out there. What also happens is that the whole environment changes. And although if you notice that you get this dust covering all the map, and now visibility is suddenly all low. And it becomes difficult for helicopters, maybe to spot people on the ground. So it changes the map quite dramatically. So you need to be aware of what's going to happen, or think about the consequences. Because when the first time you see it, just cool. Second time, okay, what are the benefits and what are the drawbacks of doing it? So then I think the team has to work together to figure out how they want to win the game.
So sorry, I was sitting in the pre-room before the computer came out, and I heard a guy talking after we watched the trailer. Yeah. He's like, "I'm just going to sit there and fire at that skyscraper," and I'd imagine that people would do that as an actual strategy, just to do it, to make it happen. Sure, they may get used to it over time to having that one environment. So that was very interesting. Another really cool feature that I love you guys implemented was the camera. The spawn camera, so you can see what the person you're going to spawn on is looking at. It was a nightmare playing Metro. You maybe spawn on some guy who just run into combat, and now you actually know what's happening. You have a chance to survive, and also customization. You kind of brought that over a little bit from Medal of Honor.
Not really. This is something that
we
built ourselves. We wanted to make it feel like you own the gun a bit more, so you want to place the gun in front of you. So many of these things have like military terms. Like, what does it mean? What is it? When I'm equipping this thing, what does it actually mean? So you have these bars on the right-hand side, so you can see, okay, if I equip this thing, what does it mean for the stats of my weapon? So you can see the delta, added. And it also makes sense because now a handle, you can actually see, okay, it is a handle. It's just not a line of text anymore. this all goes into the whole idea of trying to increase the accessibility of the game a little bit, because we noticed that some people were struggling to get into the game, but when they finally did it, they loved it. So we're trying to make it a little bit more accessible, a little bit more self-explanatory in a sense.
How quickly is it going to be to rank up as compared to BF3?
It's going to take a bit longer, but we're not really talking too much about that just yet.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
so we just have Shanghai that's playable at the moment.
Yes, correct.
It's a beautiful map, and it's a lot bigger than a lot of the other urban kind of maps you had in BF3.
It's much bigger than the urban maps we have, but it's bigger on scale. But it's not, tremendously much bigger in the gameplay areas. So you have these huge blocks, kind of creating the gameplay spaces. So we felt like we found a nice balance between it being too big and not feeling like a city. Because I think that I'm really proud of it. It's the first time that I felt like I was in a big metropolis, like a modern city, and I could do, choppers between buildings and.
I had a go at that, admittedly.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite moments when you get chopper chases that goes from buildings or between buildings rather, and so these are the things that we always wanted to do but were never able to do before. So finally, we're able to build a map that many of us wanted to build for quite some time.
Are there going to be multiple accessible floors in most of the buildings on the map?
Some floors have multiple. Some buildings have multiple floors, and some have, just one floor that you have access to.
Because that was a big thing for me. I like to get in the wreckage and snipe people out like that, and kind of, I don't know. It felt a lot more recon friendly. BF4 does, and that's something I've loved about playing it so far. Is I can get into the game, and I guess I don't feel handicapped. The class balancing in this game feels amazing.
Oh, good.
So,
good to hear it.
I really thank you for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. And once more, loving the game so far.
Thank you.